What's up, fight fans? And we're back at it with another one here on Round One Sports Talk. So let me know if you can hear me okay. If everything is sounding correctly for the most part. I hope so. Let me check it. So let me know if you can hear me okay. If everything is sounding correctly for the most part. I hope so. Good. There we are. Well, we got a lot to break down here. Um, well, it is official, and I stand corrected. Saul Canelo Alvarez looks like he may be fighting May 4th. This is probably one of the biggest hiccups that he has had in the game. So it looks like him and his coach have been always, still in the lab training and stuff, preparing and shooting for that date. It was whether the opponent and place and time and his promotional company. A lot of people went on quick, said that Saul Canelo Alvarez left the PBC, Al Heyman, and that Ed Hearns was going to step back in, or Oscar De La Hoya, or Amazon Prime, whatever, everybody, right? And it doesn't seem like he left the PBC. So everybody that went on YouTube and said that they left and said that Al Heyman was broke and that the PBC was done, Saul Canelo Alvarez is fighting with them. Yeah, and he's gonna be fighting Jaime Mungia. And you know me, right? One of the first ways I find out if a fight is official, or unless I got like a real inside track, like I know a guy that knows his coach, or and I know something, right? And sometimes they ask us not to announce it because they want to be the ones to announce it, right? And you don't want to, like, fuck up no ties sometimes. So you don't do that. But the way I know that this is official, went on Boxing Records. If you go on Boxing Record right now and you type in either Jaime Munguia or Saul Canelo Alvarez, either or, right? And Saul Canelo Alvarez's next opponent, Jaime Munguia. And then Jaime Munguia's next opponent, Saul Canelo Alvarez. So it's already sketched in. So that's official. It's at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. The date that they're saying, of course, is May 4th, right? So I guess a couple more things gotta be, and you know, um, they're gonna shoot to fight this. Okay. Now, once again, smoke and mirrors. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. And if nobody remembers this, well, let's bring this back up. Didn't Saul Canelo Alvarez say he wouldn't fight Mexican fighters? Isn't that why he didn't fight David the Monster Benavidez? Because he said he didn't want to fight Mexican fighters? Hold on. Give me a second. Let me double check this. Jaime Munguia. Nationality. Mexican. Has to be a mistake. That has to be a mistake. So Canelo Alvarez himself came out and said, I no longer fight Mexican fighters. They are my people. And that is why I will not fight David the Monster Benavidez. And Benavidez said, yo, I'm only half Mexican. So right? And then now he's fighting, like, does he not remember that was his excuse? Saul Canelo Alvarez, does he not remember that's why he told the world he wasn't going to fight the monster because he was Mexican? I'm confused. I'm confused right now. Because now it just made yourself look like a fucking liar, bro. Straight up. So at any time it's convenient for you, you could just say, I don't fight Mexicans, and then let a couple of years pass and say, you know what? I turned a new leaf. You guys want me fighting the best? So you guys are saying Jaime Munguia is one of the young best? I'll fight him. No, that's not what we said, Saul. No one ever said that. We said he's good. We said he's a likely opponent. He's he would be a worthy challenger at some point. But that's not what any of us said. The entire world's been saying, David, you know what the hell's going on, Saul. And you know why you ain't fighting the man. I mean, how many times does he have to put his foot in his mouth or say fight an inch a title eliminator or obtain the like I don't want your belt, but he's stripped and then he takes the belt. He moves in and fights for the vacant title. But yet, you see, and I kind of get it now. I've seen this before. I've seen this in other sports. Men like that don't want to put in all the work or doesn't have the ability or the skills to be that kind of champion, but they want the credibility of being that type of champion. For instance, LeBron James. LeBron James has always been wanting to go around talking about Michael Jordan and how good and how much better he always is. If you gotta come out and say, yo, hey, I'm better than you, but nobody's really kind of saying it for you, then that was a problem. Then when you got the younger people that never saw MJ play, I get it. That's their guy. Yo, bro, I feel you on that one. He's your guy. Just not better than Mike, bro. Right? And I know those kind of men that they cling on to little things and say, this is why I'm better. This is why, but they just don't have the accolades to back it. They don't got the rings and they don't got all those divisions and championship belts and legendary fights. Saul wants credit. He legitimately wants credit for being the greatest Mexican fighter. And I'm not sure that those Mexican fighters, or myself including, can give him that title when it's all said and done. Not at this rate. Not at this rate. You know, look, when it was announced, right after the Francis Ngannou fight that it was going to be Mungia, I paid no mind to that. In fact, I even reported right after that I don't think the fight's going to happen because when it comes to Saul Canelo Alvarez, his last few fights, I've seen that things change. I've seen him work with different promotional companies, and I have a tendency of forgetting that he's not working with Oscar De La Hoya and it doesn't go this certain way anymore. And when he was working with this one and etc. So he has a 3-fight deal with the PBC, and this will be the second fight on his contract. He has one more fight with them. Now, you know, it was said that on one of those fights, the name across the table was going to be David Benavidez. But somehow, some way, I see him slithering his way out of this one again. This is not becoming fun. Me being a Latin man myself, in a way, it's kind of embarrassing. I'm in the barber shop or wherever I'm at, and they're looking at me, and we're talking boxing, and they're like, "What's up with your boy?" And I'm like, "Who?" They like, "Saul." I'm like, I'll claim him. I'll claim him, But they like, what's up with him? He ain't fighting. And it gets tough. It gets tough sometimes. And you're just sitting there and you're just like, yeah, I can't disagree with anything you're saying, but he's going to get it together, I say. He's going to get it together and he's going to fight somebody and he going to be all right. I've been saying that since the first Triple G fight. I didn't even want to see him fight. Although I did because I felt kind of Triple G fought. Right, if my memory serves me correctly, wanted to see it because of the first one. I was wanted to see, but the third one I really didn't want to see. I was done with it by then, you know. Um, but let's see what happens here. Now let's see if young Jaime Mungia can shock the world. Do you guys think that Jaime Mungia, listen, electrifying? The kid's electrifying. Yes, he is. Um, Does he have that under control where that, you know, he doesn't get too excited and throw too many punches, leave himself just that enough vulnerable in between a round where a veteran like Saul Canelo Alvarez can make those kind of reads? You know, will Jaime Mungia show that he's maturing in boxing, that he knows when to turn up the heat, and know that at this level in the game, Saul Canelo Alvarez is not going to push you too much. He's basically going to want to fight off the back foot and counterpunch. I don't see Canelo Alvarez fighting off the front foot and pushing Mungia back. In fact, Mungia's fighting off the front foot, and he's going to be the one going in. Now, I want to know if he's developed a little bit more patient to his approach. Fighting Saul Canelo Alvarez, he's a good counterpuncher and an even stronger body puncher. Now, elusive Mungia, I think he makes a lot of mistakes with other fighters. I believe with Saul Canelo Alvarez, he'll understand that he can't make those kind of mistakes. You know, um, According to Saul Canelo Alvarez, no one beats this version of Saul Canelo Alvarez. We're about to find out. Is this another cherry pick gone wrong? Listen, Jaime Munguia is getting an opportunity of a lifetime. And you can honestly say that if he wins that night, Mexico wins. Either way, Mexico is going to get a champion that night. So I I wouldn't I wouldn't say it's, well, yeah, against Mexican fighters it would be a kind of passing of the torch if Munguia won. The rematch would probably be in the immediate future. I don't think that Saul Canelo Alvarez is signing that contract without a rematch clause. Yeah. I'm not sure about the weight. I think that they'll just, um, but yeah, so far what I know is it is going down May 4th, and it's going down in Las Vegas in the T-Mobile Arena. So, look, if I was to break down this fight, right? Quite frankly, they got an opponent in common in Ryder. I think that the way that Munguia dispatched the Ryder better than, I would say, Saul Canelo Alvarez. Saul Canelo Alvarez in that fight looked like he wanted to see his knockout. He was going for it at a time, but at times it was so predictable that even Ryder was able to put up his defense, and he saw everything basically Saul was doing on that night. I mean, although Saul Canelo Alvarez was applying a lot of pressure and he was getting in, he just wasn't catching him flush. And the times that he did, Ryder ate that shit. So what's that saying? Does Saul still have it? Did he have to go around on a campaign saying that no one beats this version of him? And then after all that is said and done, the person you take is a person that only has one fight in the division that just moved up. You didn't take any of the experienced guys that are natural 160 pounders, 68 pounders, guys that is their weight division. See, and in this sport, you know, the people that need to really lock down on this are these sanctioning bodies, the belts. They need not to sanction these fights, and I think they're actually doing that. In fact, as you can see, they didn't sanction the Keith Thurman and Tim Tszyu fight. The WBO wanted no part of that because they acknowledged that. Wait a minute, yo, Tim Tszyu, although you have the right to fight whoever you want, we're not going to sanction the fight because he's not ranked in our weight division. He's not even ranked or signed into our belt. And then it didn't help that Keith Thurman is bad mouthing the WBO. And I wonder why. Because they wouldn't sanction his bullshit. He thought he was just going to get out of bed, because of his name and do a George Foreman. George Foreman got his shot against Evander Holyfield and came up short. That was a great fight, by the way, right? So when Michael Moore became champion, he hadn't fought in a year. I know he was making a comeback, but he lost his opportunity. George Foreman called Bob Arum and was like, I want the fight. And he jumped over everybody. And Michael Moore and their team was like, you don't deserve the shot. How the fuck are they making you his mandatory? They do shit in boxing, huh? And, Keith Thurman was doing a George Foreman, trying to jump over everybody and just get himself in a fight. Listen, Keith Thurman think that Tim Tszyu soft. Yeah, he do. You know how Keith Thurman is, right? He come with like that New York swag type dude, right? And he looking at him, he like, man, this white boy, that pretty ass face, look at him. Keith Thurman acknowledges, he does do some things good and right in the ring, but not enough to beat me. Not one time, Keith Thurman, right? And on the outside looking in, and you would remember Keith Thurman for the fighter he was, right? I'm not sure who's showing up. I don't know this Keith Thurman. If he feels confident enough that he can be an active 154-pound champion in a division he doesn't even belong in. Keith Thurman should be fighting at 147. So you want to go stick your nose in business that has nothing to do with you. What he was trying to do was play spoiler. Since nobody wanted to let Keith Thurman in and play any reindeer games because he technically didn't deserve it, right? When once upon a time it was Errol Spence Jr., Terrence Crawford, Jamel Charlo, and Tim Tszyu and them, and they was all making noise in a little circle, right? Keith Thurman wanted in, right? So they didn't let him in. Errol Spence shut him down. Errol Spence shut him down, said, I will never fight you for the way you acted towards me. Terrence Crawford ignored him. Tim Tszyu was like, right? So when shit started falling apart, they found out they was locked in a rematch. Tim Tszyu, Jamel Charlo, he went and fought Saul, right? On some shit he didn't even belong in. Keith Thurman said, let me play spoiler. I'm going to make Errol Spence or Terrence Crawford or one of these dudes fight me, right? Or Jamel Charlo. But what I got to do is get something. And once he saw that Tim Tszyu had that 154-pound title, he said, wow, gotcha. That's my entrance. If he gets that belt, Jamel Charlo would have to see him for the belt. If Terrence Crawford wants to move up, he's a WBO champion. His mandatory would be who? Keith Thurman. And if Errol Spence Jr. loses and he wants to get back to Keith Thurman, he can fight Keith Thurman for the 154. Keith Thurman had it all figured out. He had it all mapped out. He was out there like this. I'm getting back in this. Oh yeah, right? But what happened when the WBO wouldn't play along? The WBO was like, they put a stop to all that. That was the last piece he needed, was the WBO to go along with it. They would fight at 154 if he wiped down this in a good world for Keith Thurman, right? He wipes down Tim Tszyu, he gets the WBO, he's right in the middle. You're gonna have to come see him, right? WBO said, fuck that. We're not playing, and that ruined all his plans. Then he went on bad-mouthing the WBO that he don't even recognize them as a real-world title, that they this, that, and this, because they wouldn't let him fight for their belt. That's why Keith Thurman started bad-mouthing the WBO. All right? What's up? All right, let me get some likes up in here. What's up, Justin? What up, Justin? Oh, Theo, what up? Hey, that would be me then. What's up? Hey, yo, Justin.
Surprise, motherfucker. Hell yeah.
Hey, yo, Justin.
Nice.
You want to feel how hard I can punch?
Love you guys. What's up? All right. Yeah, man. No, it's only the truth. It's only the truth. And I see it. I see exactly what Keith Thurman is doing. And I see why he says half the things that he says, you know? Because, look, there's other ways, my man Keith Thurman, you could have went about this. There was other ways. He just didn't like the other avenues. You guys know what the other way was, right? Jerron Boots Ennis at 147 for the IBF. That was the other option. Why he never took that road? Why he never climbed up that tree? It might be because Jerome Boots Ennis, now that I think about it, was going through his promotional situation. Maybe it was around the time where his promotional actually died and he couldn't make any agreements. So Keith Thurman probably went another avenue, but I'm not sure he's that smart. I think he was smart enough to see the WBO move because that was a blatant move on the chessboard. It was like looking at a pawn going to take a queen. How blatant can that be? Not unless it sets you up for checkmate, right? You better look around. You know what I'm saying? Right? But even I saw that. The WBO saw the move. I was like, he thought he was gonna slide right in. Like on some WBC shit. If it makes dollars and cents for them, they agree to anything. Yeah, yeah. In fucking WBC, they suckers, you know? But I gotta tell you, I can't believe this. He's fighting a Mexican after all this time. And we knew that it was bullshit when he was saying it. Because in the early half of part of his career, that's all he fought were Mexicans out of Mexico. He fought his way out of Mexico fighting Mexicans. So that was bullshit, you know? And like he has fought Mexicans before. So we were like, so then, the fighters were like, okay, all right, peep it. Maybe he got big enough. Maybe he feel like he represents Mexico. And maybe now he's turning a new leaf. And maybe he's like, nah, bro, I ain't fighting my people. Oh, I can respect that. I can respect that. So there was nothing really I could have said about it, but how are you going to enter a sport and become racist against your own people? There's another Mexican out there that wants to be like you and wants an opportunity. And your excuse of not fighting him, sorry, bro, you were born Mexican. Ain't that a bitch? Right? Then after all this, you fight a Mexican fighter? Are you can't make this up. Are you serious right now, so? Like, man, dog, like, man, listen, I can't back him up no more. I just come out and say like it is because I'm tired of backing the man up. Listen, you know, you can't pretend to be this kind of champion and do the shit you're doing because that's real facts. This guy right here, I mean, real fucking champion, bro. Fought all the top guys, continues to fight the top guys, is only going after the top guys. That's pretty much all you could do. That's pretty much all you could do. Doesn't hold on to the belts in one division. In fact, 30 days after he won all four of them, which should have been for most fighters a lifetime achievement. Probably the biggest thing you're thinking that in your career, you did it. You got all the belts in your division. It wasn't good enough for him. 30 days after he won them belts, he threw them back in the water. Let somebody else get a crack. Yo, what are you doing? I'm going that way, bro. Yeah, I already got a mandatory fight. I had the WBO, which makes me that guy's mandatory. Oh, Stephen Kubo Fulton, are you crazy? It's the number one 122 pounder. Listen, you have no tune-up fight. You're moving up a weight division. Where do I sign? Yeah, are you still talking? Just bring him out here. That's this guy. You still talking? Let's go. Get him in the ring. You know, some fighters will get 4 belts and they will kill themselves to fucking make weight. Devin Haney. Devin Haney did not want to relinquish those 4 belts at 135, and who would fucking blame him? Neither would I. Neither would I. I will kill myself to make that. Are you out of your mind? I just got those 4 belts. Yeah, I want to defend them. Yes, yes, I'm staying right here. I'm the fucking king. Are you crazy? Go to another weight division and chase some other champions in a higher weight division? Come on, man. Yeah, you talking crazy talk. This guy did it. Listen, nobody's going to want to give that up. That really speaks to the kind of champion this guy is. Saul Canelo Alvarez is paying keep away with these belts, and we're all watching it while he convinces himself he is the greatest. While he has people around him telling him, you're going to go down as the best, I think he's going to get a rude awakening when those other legends and they pull up his credentials and put him up against the other Mexican legends. He's not going to fare too well. I mean, yeah, he had all 4 belts in a division in a 4 belt era, but in their eras, there probably wasn't a 4 belt era. And they probably got all the belts in that era, so that counts. If it was a 2 belt era or 3 belt era, and whatever era it was, it doesn't matter if you add on 1 belt, you got to the maximum of your era. So those 3 belts are just as valuable as a 4 belt era. I'm not sure if Saul understands that. And then you got to be going down and hit. Listen, Oscar De La Hoya at the tail end of his career fought the top dogs, man. I can't even lie. I can't even hate on the man. Yo, he banged it out until the day he retired. Oscar De La Hoya. Yo, I used to hate that little pretty motherfucker, and I'm gonna keep it 100, bro. Bro, I used to get so he used to whoop everybody's ass, man. Everybody, bro. He used to be Puerto Rican fighters. He broke up, right? Until Felix Trinidad. And then he tried to play it safe and run the last 2 rounds. And Felix caught that ass. Fought like a champion. Oscar decided to get on his bike. Thank you. You know what I mean? Because Oscar might have walked away with that. You know? But I gotta admit, when it comes to telling the truth about a fighter, though, no matter if I didn't like you or not, I'm gonna tell it like it is. Oscar was a dog. He fought all the top guys. He's got 5 weight divisions. Oh my God, he's such a highly decorated. He's got a gold medal. He's got a gold medal, bro. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. What's up? What's up, Keith? And we're gonna give him a round 1. Johnny, thank you for tuning in. You know, and I just don't think that if who is gonna go against Julio Cesar Chavez, Mexican legends like that, like you know, I don't, Salvador Sanchez is probably one of the greatest Mexican, but since he died at 23 years old, there's no telling where his greatness would have went. I mean, hands down, there's no way you can convince me that Saul Canelo Alvarez would have ever been a better fighter than that guy. But he died at 23 and he was taken away from us. There was a fighter right there that I would have loved to see where his skills brought him. He beat the shit out of my Puerto Rican fighter, bro. And my Puerto Rican fighter was 39 and 39 knockouts leading into that fight, moving up 1 weight division. So, and when Saul is like walking around beating his chest, talking about I'm the greatest Mexican fighter to ever live, and it just I don't know. I don't know if that's going to stand the test of time because I'm telling you right now, I've seen other better Mexican fighters at the tail end of their career. In fact, Oscar De La Hoya beat Julio Cesar Chavez to pass the torch. It was a Mexican against a Mexican, and then the younger one won. You know what I mean? And when Saul Canelo Alvarez was given that opportunity to get the torch passed, he failed on his test. When he fought, it wasn't a Mexican, it was the one and only Floyd Mayweather Jr. Saul Canelo Alvarez at 23 fought him at 36 and lost. But Oscar De La Hoya fought De La Hoya at 35, and Oscar De La Hoya was 23, and he won. So when it was his test, Oscar won. Looking back, and boxing starts to run through my mind. I start to figure this shit out. I'm like, hell yeah, that is true, right? Yeah, man. You know? So like, and then let me read some of these messages. The Blake Griffin. What's up? I respect the Mungia fight. I just don't think that Mungia deserved it. I think there was other worthy opponents. I think David Benavidez deserved this fight. Why didn't he give David Benavidez this fight when he's actually his mandatory and has been pursuing him throughout the division and repeatedly calling him out for more than 5 years? Jaime Munguia just walked into the weight division, fought one time and got the fight. I don't care what I think of it as a fan. As a fan, yeah, give me that. I'll take that as a fan. But as a boxer, are you fucking kidding me? Did he just jump the line with one fight? How did he do that? You feel me? So as a boxer, no, it's not right. No, it's not. There are other people that are married to there's a number one ranked mandatory for each of those belts. And they got fighters for days. He's just him. You know what I mean? Yo, what up, Amando? Salud, papi. Well, all due respect, you call out Canelo, but have your look. There are some things about deals and contracts and money that sometimes from the outside looking in, you could say Canelo Alvarez declined $55 million. At one point in that offer, I think it was like 35 million guaranteed. He denied it. Then it went up to like 50 guaranteed. He denied it. Okay. But you never know what you're signing, and you don't know if those are actually true. One of these guys behind the scene could have said that. I never really actually heard Canelo's team actually say that, but I know that it was a lot of money. Look, at the end of the day, we have to be honest with ourselves. Styles make fights, and matchmakers know how to make fights. All the matchmakers say that this would be a bad fight for Canelo Alvarez due to the fact of that what Bivol did to him. Now, I was on the fence with that. I said, no, I can't hold Saul Canelo Alvarez for the fight against Bivol. They said, why? I said, bro, because he moved up in weight. 175. Look how fat he was. He was blimped up. His body wasn't firing on all cylinders. So there's no way I can hold Saul Canelo Alvarez to that Bivol fight because he wasn't really Saul. And Bivol was in his natural weight. So I was like, to tell you the truth, all the factors was on Bivol's side. He was the much bigger man. So all Saul was doing was trying to dare to be great. So I said, okay, I'm not going to hold them to that, right? So I said to myself, I said, listen, if Saul Canelo Alvarez, right, would have I can't remember who the mandatory for the WBA was back then. I want to say it was damn because you see you got to take it for what it was in the moment. Like when I speak about this stuff, you guys got to remember what was going on then. It's not like I'm talking about Saul Canelo Alvarez right now, okay? And back then, you know, listen, my honest opinion, if Saul Canelo Alvarez would have took the fight with against David Benavidez the first time he was offered that fight when he fought for the vacant title and he won it, and he would have fought David Benavidez right there, he would have beat David Benavidez at that time. I believe if he would have beat him, but his best chance of beating David Benavidez was right there. That was it. That was it. David Benavidez's footwork was still trash, right? And you know he just got called for outside use and got his belt stripped, right? So you know he was trying to get his mind right, right? He's getting his mind right. You know he's getting in the gym, and you never know what's going on behind the scenes. And by looking from, he throws so much punches up top that a lot of people didn't even pay attention to his footwork back then. Yo, it was garbage, straight trash. Yo, David Benavidez, yo, he used to slide like he looked like Frankenstein. He used to just drag his foot, right? And yo, I dare you to go watch his fights, and you're gonna be shocked and come back here to Round One's World Sports Talk and let me know. Be like, yo, if you agree or not, right? I know you're gonna agree because when you see it firsthand with your eyes, there's no denying it. You're like, holy shit, his footwork was garbage, but he was so effective up here and so electrifying that with those, no one really looked down. They didn't look down. And Saul Canelo Alvarez, at that time, such a skilled fighter, he would have figured that out. And he would have made the proper cuts, made him stumble over himself a little, put him in situations where when he was going back up, when back then, yo, he would even make big mistakes in the ring. He would cross his feet like this. David Benavidez. There's multiple fights that he does that. When he stepped back, oh my God, his footwork was garbage. And I don't think that nobody paid attention to it. No one paid it. He was so electrifying up top that no one looked down. No one. And then finally, when they realized, they were like, wait a minute. He started getting better. His footwork started getting better. When he came into the fight with Demetrius Andre, his footworks have came leaps and bounds. Yeah, I can honestly say he's still heavy on the back foot and he drags it. It barely picks up. You know, he doesn't really have a lot of bounce in his step, you know. But his footwork is not, there's a lot of guys with way better footwork, but he's so lengthy and rangy that he'll just and slide you right back in. And then one step, he takes a lot of space. And especially if he's fighting in a much smaller ring. If you get him in a much bigger ring, see, Caleb Plant had the right idea. When he ordered that ring size, right? He wanted to move in that ring, but you know, and it wasn't that Caleb Plant stood in front of him at all. I don't feel like Caleb Plant stood out in front of him. I feel like those punches weared on him while the rounds were going and they slowed him down. Any human's going to get hit like that. It's going to slow you down. And David can land his punches. And when he does, apparently they look like they hurt. So styles make fights. And I think that Saul Canelo Alvarez's time and opportunity to beat in the monster passed him. And I think he acknowledged that. I don't know what was going on back then. I can't quite remember all the fights that were going on. Sometimes I can. I lock in like laser, like, and I fucking zone out and shit. I'm like, Madison Square Garden, 1963. Yo, and I snap out of it. You know, um, but yeah, I want to know what was going on because when it shows you a clearer picture of what he was thinking or you know what I mean? So now we're getting that fight, and I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take it. But as far as the boxer standpoint, and is it right? Did he deserve it? Fuck no. Fuck no. But I'll take it. I'll take it. Subriel Matias was all over social media right now, going back and forth with Michelle Ali Rivera, right? And I'm like, oh shit, ain't Michelle like training at the gym, like right down the street from where I live? You know, like I'm gonna slide up in there. I gotta go down there and slide in. It's not like right down the street. It's like the little town over. So when I say down the street, it is actually like down the street because technically, if I was to leave my house and get on that road would land right into the gym. You don't take no turns, right? It's just a long ass road, right? So I was like, I was gonna go down there and talk to him, and then I saw Subriel Matias come on. And let me tell you something about Subriel Matias, bro. I think we're cut from kind of like the same cloth. I mean, we're not the same. You know, we're never the boxer. He's much. Don't even think that. I just mean in this sense, we don't know how to play. We don't know how to joke around. We don't. And when Supreme Matias tells him, "Yo, bro, you all over social media," he's like, "Yo, yo, I sent you an offer. I'm gonna see if you're gonna respond, my man. Like, chill out. Like, if they were to bump into each other, Subriel doesn't know how to joke around. He don't know how to know when a person calling him out or using his name to just build some shit up. He's not that type of person. He's a real serious individual. And there's just things that we don't find funny. We don't know how to play YouTube. You understand? And how to be fake about anything. And if Sobriel says something like that, believe me when I tell you, when he runs into him, he ain't gonna be joking. And somebody might get smacked or punched in the mouth or something because he's not that type of dude. He's not a Teofimo Lopez. Well, he'll go back and forth with you. He's not that kind of guy. You know, he's on some shit, like some real shit. Like the man's been shot before. The man has been in prison before. You know, he done put in his work. He was in gangs and real gangs in Puerto Rico. They killed his older brother in the streets. Like he's not joking around, bro. I'm not sure some of these dudes like I'll be like, and like when Tio said that about Jamie Ortiz, yeah, Jamie Ortiz is Puerto Rican, yeah, and he takes it very serious too. But you know, when like fighters responded like Subriel was like, "What'd you say?" You notice he was like, "No, no, 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 hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, right?" And he's like, "No, just the ones in like my weight division." Subriel was like, "Speak up, nigga," and he was like, "No, I just say Jamie Ortiz." Yo, yeah, he's just not that type of man. He's really not. So I think that these dudes should be a little bit careful with him, you know, because watch what you ask for, because you might just get it. And it ain't gonna be funny when they like pressuring you to take it because they like they want you out there saying that shit. And the belts, they do funny shit like that too. You know, just like they don't make fights, they set you up on fights too. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. You know? But oh, here we go again. Tank Davis, Frank Martin. Oh, listen. Okay, they were saying today that you think that Frank Martin could beat Teofimo Lopez, right? And they were saying that Teo would knock out Frank Martin, right? So I'm sitting there listening to their argument. I'm listening to the conversation. And I heard one of the guys, I'm not going to mention his name because I didn't ask him that I could. So, but I'm, you know, if he ever hears this or sees it, you know, shouts out to you. You know who you are, respect. and I'm using what you said. I'm not taking it as my own. And he said that from his observation when he watched Teofimo Lopez fight, right? He noticed that when he was the most successful, the fighters stood in front of him, and he was able to land that big shot on them guys. You see, what Teofimo Lopez's problem he had was a lot of movement, right? And they thought that he was going to have a lot of problems against Lomachenko due to the fact that he's a real, like, movement type of guy. But I don't think no one could foresee that Lomachenko's punch output for the first 5 rounds was going to be like fucking below average. Like, he didn't throw nothing. Like, I don't think anybody saw that. And it took him a long time, I remember, in that fight to get started. But once he did, he started connecting and shit. And the mobility did, in fact, give Tio problems. And as you can see, when he fought against Jermaine Ortiz, that's what he couldn't catch up to that dude. He couldn't catch up to him. So I was saying to myself, yeah, you see, different people don't have the same vision, and everybody sees fights differently. What I learned in that conversation is that one person would view a fight one way and another would view it this way. And both would argue their points passionately because they would be, seeing their side. Me, I stay on the outside. I hear it all, I watch it all so that I can make a better assessment of what I'm watching and what I'm seeing. You see, and I believe that Frank the Ghost Martin is good. But I noticed that, is it me or is, not a lot of fighters that Derek James coaches are real mobile fighters. Like, think about it. Errol Spence Jr. doesn't move around that ring like that, right? Does Jermell Charlo do it? No. He's not that kind of fighter neither, right? And Frank Martin isn't either. I mean, for the most part, Anthony Joshua for heavyweight, I think he moves. I think he moves. For heavyweight, yeah, I think he moves. But he's always been like that. I don't think Derek James inherited him. He was already made. But for the most part, all his fighters don't. He's not that that kind of fighter where he trains like an evading style if need be. So if Frank Martin needs to evade against Tank Davis, I've never seen that. One thing Tank Davis is gonna do is push you back. He's gonna step to you, and Tank Davis can fight any way, and he makes exceptional reads. What's up, Carlos? Man, you got a lot to say here. Let me read some of these messages. What's up, de boxeo? Saludo. I feel you, brother, but it's like you said, bro. The Benavidez fight is probably a real threat to Canelo like that. Um, he's fought taller fighters. I'm not sure if he's ever fought a fighter as tall as David the Monster Benavidez. Now I would have to go check because Saul Canelo Alvarez has 60 fights, and it's hard for me to remember all 60 opponents. I don't even think I've seen all 60 of his fights. I didn't see a lot of early of his career, but I remember I did go back at one point and I started watching a lot of his younger fights and what they had of him. So I can't remember if anybody was that tall. So I can't definitively say, that he's actually fought because, and then somebody will be like, this guy on this date, he's taller, and he's like an inch taller than, and he'll be like, see my point, and think he said something. I don't think it's about the height. I just think it's about the style of the way Benavidez fights. I've seen taller fighters, but fight differently. You see, and I think it's his particular style. Um, David, the Monster Benavidez is real lengthy and rangy, and he does have good hip movement where he can evade the punch this much and follow it in. His waist is really good, because it had to be good because his footwork wasn't good. And that's why I think his waist became really good and fluent, and he knows how to move like this exceptionally well for a guy that 168 and that tall. You see, um, so I think it was really his style of fighting in particular, not so much the height, not so much the reach. You had to know how to fight. You definitely have to know how to fight, and you got to be really skilled to beat Canelo Alvarez. You're not just gonna beat him because you had some small attributes. No, you had to capitalize on your own attributes as a fighter and present them as a high threat to Saul Canelo Alvarez. That's when he will not fight you. High risk, low reward. He loses all his belts, his star status, and you catapult to stardom. You know, and that's when he was not going to do it. And then you see, you might think to yourself, then there'll be a rematch. Not every fighter is, saying a rematch is going to make everything right. Shit, if he beat you the first time and you know that was a high risk match, you think you want to fight him again? Not everybody's going to sign up. As you can see, Errol Spence Jr., Terrence Crawford. Did it happen? No. And that was the smart thing to do. That's the first time any man has ever put their hands on that man's face like that. Errol Spence Jr. And right after he gave you the worstest ass whooping you've ever taken in probably your entire career as a boxer, you're gonna put me in the ring with that man again? Right after that? That's like him recuperating from the car crash and putting him on that same street with the same car, the same, and be like, "Yo, drive home, dog." No, no. Why would you do that to him? You know? No, man. I don't think Errol Spence Jr. would ever take that fight. I think he should relive it, go back, go revisit it in the future, not relive it, revisit it back in the future. Like meaning, get two fights in front of you. Get a couple knockouts in front of underneath your belt, Errol Spence. Get your confidence back up. Get dedicated back in the gym. See where your body's at. If your body's responding, if your heart's still in it, then go for it. But and then don't go right back to the guy that beat you like that, And then make sure when you go into that fight, you're the best version of yourself. Win, lose, or draw, you can live with that. You can end your career or continue boxing. It's up to you. But you can honestly say to yourself, Errol Spence Jr., I can accept that, win, lose, or draw. He was just a better man. But not beat you the way you were on that night. Do you want to let your career end like that? That's up to you. That's up to you. He has good options here. Technically, he only lost one time. That's it. So if he ends his career with one loss, it's a pretty good record. It's a pretty good fucking record, right? So how do you? Uh, I mean, you could also view it like, all right, I got the loss already. I'm not undefeated. I'm not going to retire undefeated, right? Let me get another crack at Terrence Crawford. Because although if I don't retire undefeated, I might have the ability to make you not retire undefeated. At least I could take that away from you too. And a victory, even if it's not for no belts. But if you took away my O, I'm going to go regroup myself, get two fights underneath me. My O's already gone. So I have two losses, but technically, if you look at it, he would only have lost to the same man. He would have two losses, but to the same man. So only one guy beat me at the end of the day. I can fuck with that. to take an opportunity to try to take your O away from you when you took mine away from me? Oh, let's get it, baby. I'll be right back with you. Let me get myself back together, get a couple knockouts, and I'll see you on the tail end, Terrence Crawford. Yeah, yeah, fuck that. But if you're gonna do it, make sure you're all the way in it. I would like to see Errol Spence Jr. all the way back in. A prime Errol Spence Jr. Beat a prime Errol Spence Jr., then you got that. You got it anyway. And Terrence Crawford, I can't take nothing away from him. Who am I to say, oh, unless you beat him the second time, that don't count. Like, yeah, right. He beat the brakes off of him, right? So he got that anyway. But as a fight fan, as a respectable champion, I believe Errol Spence Jr. deserves another shot. I don't think they should have put him in so early. No, but yeah, I do think he does. You know, and Subriel Matias, right? He's looking for an opponent for the summer for Puerto Rico. Now I get it. I get it. Not everybody's gonna sign up for that fight. One, one. Um, when you put your fighter into a fight, whether you think your fighter can win or lose in that fight, whether you think your fighter can beat Subriel Matias, right, or not, and you take that fight, you got to understand that even with a win or a loss, there are some things you're going to lose in that fight. And what I mean by that is you're going to put a lot of damage on your fighter. Yeah, because let's say you pull an upset and you beat Subriel, it then doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The damage that he puts on those fighters, like if you was to beat him in the 10th, 12th round, bro, you're gonna be fucked up. Yo, the wear and tear he puts on those guys. So sometimes you kind of gotta be iffy about putting your fighter in against this dude. Because when they say he really fucking torments people in there, like, yeah, look, the guy beat him, right? Knocks him down in the fight. Subriel was wearing it in that fight. So as you can see, he can get touched up, but he can dish it out. You see? He corrected whatever mistakes was going on in his life, his training, his camp. He revisited the fight. Subriel took care of business. Didn't knock him out. Didn't TKO him. He made him quit. And from the damage, all five of those last fighters since he lost, Subriel has been on some shit. And he's really been punishing these fighters. So these fighters and these guys that called it quits and stuff, they called it quits because of why? Because they want to save their fighter to fight again. This guy is brutal and he's causing too much damage to fighters. So sometimes when you're putting your fighter in a situation like that, you got to kind of anticipate, well, what if he does win, but at what cost? At what cost? How much damage did he take to win this fight? Will he even be the same after that fight? Why would I want to put my fighter into to fight fucking Subriel, bro? That dude's oh my God, bro. So, as a coach, you got to think of shit like that. You might want to slide through, homeboy, first. Hey, yo, Subriel. Hey, yo soy boricua también, Subriel. I don't want to fight you. I'm going to do a Canelo. I do not fight Puerto Rican fighters. Yo, I'll get on some shit. I'm like, sorry, Subriel. I do not fight Puerto Rican fighters. And my next fight, I fought Jermaine Ortiz. Yo, if you know, you know. You know? Daniel, what up? The only. Now you're going to make me think. Because now you said the only great fight win he has is against fucking Jose Pedraza, right? But what was homeboy's name? He knocked out with that vicious uppercut. The Mexican champion. You see, I know he moved up in weight to fight him, but he was a I believe a 2-3 division world champion. You know, he never been knocked out. He the one time he was knocked down in a fight, the referee apologized to him because it was a rabbit punch that they hit that Mexican dude behind the head. And I know he moved up to fight Tank, but he fought Tank. And uh I know one of y'all gonna put his name up and I'm gonna see it. I'm gonna get fucking mad because he's an excellent Mexican boxer and I should be dragged right now down the streets of Boxing Lane. Sometimes you have a brain fart, you know what I'm saying? Happens to the best of us. You know what I'm saying? Uh he put his name, yo. Leo Santa Cruz. Yes. Yeah. Leo Santa Cruz was good. He's a good boxer, bro. Tank fought him. I know he was a little, but Tank's a little dude too, man. And Leo Santa Cruz had him in height and length, reach, everything. You know, so they were saying by the weight size, Um, you know, the Aztec Warrior was an interim champion. He came into that fight undefeated too. He was young though when he fought him. You know, I wouldn't say he was the best boxer in the world, no. But he was better than fucking Ryan Garcia. He was better. I think Mario Barrio is better than Hector Luis Garcia. You know, fighters like that. Yeah. I think he's better than that. And I think Frank the Ghost Martin is better than all those guys. So when they said his name, I'll take that fight. I'll take that fight right there. You got to keep it in mind. This is going to be Frank the Tank's Martin's opportunity at a world title. And this will also be Tank Davis's um, uh, title, to solidify your title. You're not a champion until you win the belt in the ring. Until that guy comes in and puts that belt around you in the ring, you're technically not a world champion, bro. If you get emailed the belt and they say they upgraded you the belt, you didn't win that belt in the ring, my brother. So until the ceremony is complete, the ritual, you got to knock someone out. You know what I mean? Where's the belt? Oh, it's on this side. You know what I mean? You can't. Well, Tank Davis is this one's. That Tank Davis got that one, the WBA, right? But he's got to win it. So let's just keep this in mind. This will be the Ghost Martin's a shot at a real world title. So he's gonna bring it. He's gonna bring it. And it's gonna be black on black crime. You know what I mean? And Tank Davis, I got Tank Davis in that fight. Until I see Tank Davis get his ass whooped, I won't go against him. I'm not going against him. Now, Tank, he might have a lot of shit going on in his life, but Tank Davis has shown me and proved to me, even if you blimp that little motherfucker up, and you get him fat and you like a punch ball and you put him all the way up at 140 he still can fight great. He was fighting Mario Barrio. None of his speed. I didn't see nothing decline. His footwork was all right. Everything, his accuracy, his timing, his place, it was all there. And he was fat as hell. And he still had his skills. So I was like, wow, my man's pretty nice with it. I was like, okay. So until I see otherwise, no. Frank the Ghost Martin, although he looks strong, he boxes like a boxer, like your conventional boxer, straight up. They he's kind of got like an Errol Spence Jr. feel to him, and Tank Davis has kind of like a Terrence Crawford feel to him. You know what I mean? So At 130, yeah. Move up about two weight classes, way too small. I knew you were gonna say that. I knew you were gonna say that. Everybody say that about Leo Santa Cruz. He took the fight. Did he take the fight? Well, then he's responsible for what happens in that ring. Okay. Listen, when Saul Canelo Alvarez knocked out Amir Khan's ass that moved up a fucking 100 weight divisions, y'all motherfuckers weren't saying nothing about that shit. And Saul Canelo Alvarez dragged out little ass Amir Khan, and he had no problem stretching him. And y'all were like, Saul, yeah, right? So Tank Davis just did his job, baby. So, you know, listen, hold on, D. Who you got in the fight? Who you got? Tank Davis or Frank Martin? I'm just curious. I just want to know. Did you already put that up there? I probably wasn't reading the message. I'm gonna find out. But if you didn't, why don't you do me a favor and drop that down right there for me one time? Come on, Carlos. Frank Martin beats and drops Michelle Rivera. Yeah, we know that. Imagine what. I'm not gonna imagine it because I don't want to say it over this mic. Okay, but whew. Listen, he is not an opponent right now, so I'll just keep that comment to myself because I actually want to go interview him probably later this week, Rivera. So, you know, I don't want to fuck that up, bro. You know. Well, that's why I say keeps us. Keith Thurman, a true welterweight, couldn't knock out Barrio, but Tank did. Ooh! Nah, nah. Yeah, yeah, that's true. You know what I mean? Yeah. But Mario Barrio was a baby when he fought Tank, man. And when he fought one time Keith Thurman, you could see it on his like he's like a man now and shit. There was two men fighting. It wasn't no little kid against a man. You know, on some type shit like that. Even though it wasn't no little kid against Tank Davis because they were both roughly this, right around the same ballpark. They were young both themselves, but they were young. They were young, and you know, I look. Tank Davis is going to get a lot of criticism for his career. The one thing that Tank Davis did wrong in his career is that he sat back and truly let them pick his fights. And Floyd being Floyd, I don't think as a promoter, he's not the best matchmaker. Floyd should have I know what Floyd was doing. You at what everybody's doing. Try to guarantee your fighter wins that fight and keeps moving up to the big fights. So I get it. I get it. And that probably hurt Tank's career a little bit, seeing the fact he's 30 years old. He only has one belt. Well, maybe two. Maybe two belts. Um but now once he fights Frank the Ghost Martin, it will solidify him as a two-division world champion. Yes, it will. Because the minute if he beats Frank the Ghost Martin, Tank Davis is a two-division world champion. But until then, he's not. Because I'm not sure how that'll work. He was the interim champion and he was upgraded. He was only upgraded because Devin Haney vacated. He didn't beat the champion. He wasn't ceremonially awarded and won the belt in a ring. Had he retired tomorrow, I don't know if he goes down in the record books as a two-division world champion. As we all know, the sanctioning bodies have no problem lying to you about you being a world champion if you have an interim title. They have no problem announcing you in the ring. The problem is on the day you retire, if you're the type of fighter that has the kind of credentials that should be looked at by the Hall of Fame. The minute you go to step over that line, the alarms are going to start going off. And they're going to tell you what belts they accept and what belts they do not accept. They will give you acknowledge for an interim belt. They will acknowledge it. They'll say interim belt, put an asterisk, but it is not recognized as a world champion because we all knew the rules by definition. What is an interim championship? A piece of a world champion, meaning you're not the champion, he's the champion. And until you beat the champion to solidify your championship, you're just an interim. So, how could you go around wearing an interim belt thinking I'm a real world champion? If it's clear, you can't be the champion until you. Same thing with Teofimo Lopez, George Camboza, and Devin Haney debacle. We all saw that unfold right before our eyes, didn't we? Teofimo Lopez beats Loma, gets all four belts, says he got all four belts. It looked good, didn't it? Did he not have all four belts? With your own two eyes, did you see four belts? All four major sanctioning bodies wrapped around that man that night. I did. It was, I seen the scene of the crime. This one, this one, this one, and this one were all wrapped around them. There's a problem, though. The WBC wasn't on the line that night. Why? Devin Haney was the WBC champion. He had the green belt. So how the fuck did Teofimo Lopez have not one, but two of them on that night? See how the WBC be playing some fuck shit just to keep their belt irrelevant? They went and put some silver belt on them or some bullshit, right? Just to get their belt out there. That belt wasn't on the line. George Camboza was pumping around all four belts, wasn't he? And he was saying he was undisputed, right? Until Devin Haney arrived in Australia. All of a sudden, at the post-fight interviews, wait a minute, George Camboza, you only got three belts. And who had the green belt? Devin Haney. Why were you fighting Devin Haney in the first place? Because he has the WBC. Oh, so what kind of belt WBC you got? Oh, you got an interim one. So if you got an interim one, why do you need his? Because that one's bullshit. See how that works? See how that works? He needed Devin Haney's belt because it's the truth. When Tank Davis got three belts and he beat Mario Barrio for that 140-pound belt, it's a nice award. It's beautiful. If I won it, I'd keep it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying anything bad about it. I'm just speaking the truth on it. That's not a world title. Neither is the world title he won at 135. That's not a world title. The only world title Tank Davis officially has is at 130 pounds. That's it. That's it. Now that Devin Haney vacated that one and they upgraded him, that's where this fight with Frank the Ghost Martin. Here we are. I caught you guys all the way up. That's why until he wins that fight against Frank the Ghost Martin, they put the belt around him. Now you can call him a two-division world champion. You know, and with respect. You know, technically he got upgraded, yeah, but like I said, if he was to retire tomorrow, I don't think they would acknowledge him. I don't see it. There's a good argument. Yeah, he was the interim. Yeah, did he get upgraded? Yes, but did he win it in the ring? No. Who did he beat for it? And that's the definition of being a world champion. So I don't know. Oh, wait a minute. This guy, yeah. Danny, what up, baby? Tank Davis is a well managed um career, brother. That would have been a great fight. I have no answer for you. I have no answer for you why he never fought Loma. I don't know, man. You see, that's that shit about Tank, man, because I love Tank. I love me some Tank. And I'm always on some shit where I've been trying to tell people for a long time. Yo, y'all have not seen the best version of Tank Davis. Trust me when I tell you this. Not a not a disciplined, focused Tank Davis. Not a 130-pound Tank Davis. A lean, mean, really in tune Tank, locked in, laser focused Tank Davis. If we ever got that guy back, if he ever shows up at the tail end of his career, I promise you, Tank Davis will show these motherfuckers up. I promise you, bro. Because if he can do all that at weights that he doesn't belong there, Tank Davis does not belong at 140 pounds. He's 5'5", bro. Go look at that video. He had no abs. He was like this. His face was this big. Remember? He was, hey, yo, and he was fighting Mario Barrio like nothing. He was like, yo, if he stood focused, lean Tank Davis at 130 pounds, I believe that would be the best version of Tank Davis, bro. And whether or not he would recognize that. He would clean house down there, bro. And if he was really focused and dedicated and locked in at 130, guess who could be enticed to come up to fight him? My man, you might be going in the wrong direction trying to fight all these big guys like Devin Haney and Subriel Matias, Tank Davis. Don't do it, baby. Stop going in that direction. Get more discipline and go in the other way. I promise you, brother, there's big fights coming. That will be a mega fight, bro. Making him rocking out at 130. Oh my God. Fire, baby. He beat 13 world champions. Yeah. I know he has beat 13 world champions. But, you know, although Anui will go down in history as a way better decorated champion than most legends in the game, I think he got them all beat right now. But in a couple categories, he will never catch some legends. And I talked about this. He will not catch Mayweather when it comes to the amount of world champions that he beat. Inoue beat 13 world champions. Mayweather beat 26. That means that since Inoue was 19 years old to present day, 30 years old, he beat 13 world champions. In order to catch Mayweather, he would have to do his entire career one more time. You need 13 more world champions to catch him. That's not going to happen. And although he got a more better impressive record and he's better decorated champion, he still hasn't caught Mayweather in weight divisions. Mayweather has 5, he has 4. Wait for it, he's working on it, right? And what he's not going to catch Mayweather is the 50-0. He can't catch him. He's got 26 fights right now, right? He would need 24 fights. He's got 26 fights right now at 30 years old, his entire career. He would have needed an additional 24 more fights just to catch him. It's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. But when it comes to the most prestigious champion and what you did and how you cleaned out your division, he's going to go down as a much decorated champion. 2-weight division, cleaned them both out. That's tough to beat, bro. That's fucking tough to beat, right? And then what's going to happen is they're going to go on their performances and how he did it. And we all know that Floyd Mayweather was a handicapped fighter at the tail end of his career. He had brittle hands, they broke, he had multiple surgeries, walked away from the game, had that big surgery in Japan, really used a lot of gauze on his hands. He had like pillows on his hand, and he had to devise a way to be more elusive. If you're doing that because you're switching your style up because your hands won't hold together, then you're a handicapped fighter. He's not a handicapped fighter. What you're seeing is the full arsenal, and that's not what you were dealing with him. He was just smart enough to know he had the skills to pull it off. Elite shit, elite fighter shit. How the fuck you mean to tell me that you came in a game like a ferocious fighter? He wasn't your kind of like one punch power, but Mayweather can crack. All right, he can crack, and he was like, and smashing these dudes. But how skilled do you have to be to have learned how to fight like that your whole career and overnight switch your entire style to another effective elite style? So in two halves of your life, you came up with two elite fighting styles. Fucking crazy, bro. Floyd was on some shit, you know, but he's gonna go down as a much better decorated champion. He might have less fights when it's all said and done, but whatever the number it is, as long as he maintains that O after it, it could be lower, but that number's gonna be really strong. Yeah, man. It's gonna be really strong and they're not gonna be able to fuck with him. Like in standards, right? When you look back at Super Bowl trophies, right? When you look at like football games and you think back to the greatest football Super Bowl ever been played. I mean, the best Super Bowl from Super Bowl number 1 to present day. Who what Super Bowl was the greatest Super Bowl of all time, you think? I know what it was. It was that Tom Brady and Atlanta Super Bowl. Yo, that comeback was ridiculous. Third quarter down by 28 like that, getting rocked like that. That was something. There's no Super Bowl and then it was fucking ridiculous, bro. So when you put Super Bowl trophies against Super Bowl trophy, what these owners do, right? The guy that has the most prestigious Super Bowl trophy is that Patriot dude, right? And then there's like a couple other Super Bowl trophies that are fucking yo. Although it wasn't like the best fucking game, you gotta admit that fucking Giants when they beat them and they took away their undefeated season, that fucking trophy's gotta be strong. So anyway, that's my point about belts and titles and shit. Like, how strong is your champion? What did they do when they run? And Floyd came up in a different time. It was a lot of corruption in the sport of boxing where that he couldn't solidify those fights against those champions. And since Floyd wasn't going to wait around for nobody, that's what kind of pushed him to chase other champions in different weight divisions. Because the one belt that was fucking with Floyd hard body, that was like, Floyd, whatever you want, we got you, was the WBC. And that's why he kept that green belt. As you can see, look at 1, 2, 3. He's wearing one. 4. Like, there's no, they had a great fighter in Floyd. You know what I'm saying? And they weren't gonna let that go. And anything Floyd wanted, WBC was like, Floyd, let's go. You want to move up? You got it. Boom. And yeah, man. So it depends what kind of champion he ends up. And like I said in a previous video, you can never call him the GOAT. Now you're anyway. You cannot call him the GOAT right now. No fighter that is currently active in the sport of boxer can be called the GOAT. They're disqualified. We talked about this. The only way, unfortunately, in the sport of boxing, you can be called the GOAT, you have to retire. Once you retire and your record is all tallied up, and what you did, then, because fighters have a tendency of coming out of retirement and getting knocked the fuck out 3, 4, 5 times. And then that fucks with their record. You're left standing, arguing, saying about your favorite fighter. No, he did this, climb multiple with weight divisions. How many times he got knocked out? How many times he lost? Yeah, shut the fuck up, right? And they're like, but no, but he did this in the earlier. The champions and the legends hurt themselves, not wanting to call it quits, not wanting to hang it up. So we have to see how he retires. That has to come into factor. And you are not awarded the GOAT in boxing. They might throw the GOAT around in other sports mad easy. Oh, he's the GOAT. Patrick Mahomes won his third. Oh, he's the GOAT. What a disrespect. Yo, this LeBron, he's the GOAT. Oh my God, what a disrespect to Michael Jordan. Like, really, he came in the league when he was 17 years old and he has the scoring title. If he didn't have the scoring title, how would that reflect on him as a player? He was the last person ever allowed in the NBA at 17. And after that, they broke that rule. He's been in the league forever. If he didn't have the scoring title, what would that say about him? Like, that doesn't, a scoring title, that don't mean nothing. That means absolutely shit. Uh, what about these bad boys? What about those? And then he gonna try to count the one in the bubble like it's a real ring. You dirty mother. You really gonna count that bubble ring? You know that bubble ring don't count. That's it. The ring got an asterisk on it already. Not a full season. Not all the players were in. And that's what kind of champion you want. That you're gonna accept the guy that says, "No, I want it." You gotta do that. You have to. That wasn't MJ. I understand championships. I understand dominance. 3P, 3P. But there's nothing else to talk about. There's just nothing else to talk about. I don't understand win, lose, lose, win, lose, win, lose, 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 lose. No. And then how quick is this age just because a guy dunks a basketball and another guy cheers with you? Well, he must be the best. You guys didn't do any homework. You guys took a bunch of numbers when a guy that obviously has played in the league a lot longer. So what? The argument was never points. Who gives a fuck about your stupid point record? That was never the argument. The argument was rings. That was the argument, and that's the only argument. Soon as he got this point thing, LeBron made the put bring that into the argument. Brother, we were never arguing that. Congratulations for your award. Now do what we were asking. Beat him. That's it. But you know what they're doing. Look over here, smoking mirrors again. You gotta do that with the guys that are less. You ever notice they have to argue their case to be the GOAT? These guys are just called the GOAT. There's a difference. You notice who's wearing whose number? Jordan's wearing his number 23. What's LeBron James's number? Yeah, I rest my case. Fucking, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. 19 world champions, Saul Canelo Alvarez beat. We're going to have to check out these world champions. Hold on. What do you know? I have Saul Canelo Alvarez's record right here. We're going to have to check this out. My man then said some shit. He said Saul Canelo Alvarez fought 19 world champions. Well, here we go. Saul Canelo Alvarez. His record is 60 fights, 39 knockouts, and 2 losses. He is currently Mexican's number one best fighter, and worldwide, he's the number one fighter, best fighter. He's 33 years of age. He's 5'8". He has a 70-inch arm reach, and he has a 65% knockout ratio. He currently has all 4 major sanctioning belts at the 168-pound weight division. Let's see if this guy is accurate. We're going all the way back. Damn, this motherfucker got a lot of fights. Oh, he's got a lot of fights. Okay, let's get it popping. So Saul Canelo Alvarez fights his uh What kind of fucking belt is that? WBA? That's not a real world title right there. That's not a world title. That's not a world title. North American Boxer Federation? That's not a. What kind of fucking belt is that? WBA Federation. Those are not world titles, bro. WBO Latin welterweight champion? The WBO Latin. That's not a world title. Those are not world titles. Hold on. He might still have 19. He's got 60 fucking fights. The WBC Youth World Welterweight. It's not a world title neither. Youth, North, nope. WBC Silver, not a world title. WBC Silver, Super, not a world title. WBC, now that's a world title. Here we go. He won his first world title. This is where he starts winning his titles right here. This is a real world title. He fought a WBC Super welterweight vacant title. Matthew Hunton. He fought him. That was his first. So he has. I'm not sure if this guy was the world champion. He had to be. No, it was vacant. It clearly says it right there, fucking vacant, and I read that. So he wasn't a champion. So that maybe he was a champion previously. This would have to be a lot of detective work because now I would have to track down every person he fought in a world champion fight and see if they were either going into the fight the world champion or they were previous a world champion before coming into the fight. Because and then that counts. Some people try to slickly get their fighter in and saying that they fought world champions and multiple world champions, but the guy didn't in fact become a world champion until after their fight. There has been a lot of situations where, um, yeah, he beat him, but he wasn't a world champion at that time. You beat him, and then he went on later to become a world champion, bro. That shouldn't count for you, because leading into the fight, he wasn't champion qualified. You know, it doesn't matter if he became a world champion later. You didn't beat him in his world champion state, and it shouldn't count for you. And sometimes they won't tell you that. And I bet you if I do my detective work on Saul Canelo Alvarez, on those 19 world champions, I bet you some of them fall apart. I might just do that. You're going to make me do this. Because now I got to see. Now I want to know. No, Mayweather beat 23 world champion? Really? You took away three of them? Which three did you take away? Because he fought 26. I'm not sure if you counted the last part of his career or whatever. I don't know how you, but you want to know something? I would have to do the same thing with Mayweather. I know a lot of the fighters Mayweather fought. Hold on, I could probably pull this off because I personally know all the fighters Mayweather fought. I don't know if they were a world champion leading into the fight or not. Yeah, I could probably do that right now with an eye test. I can probably do that with Mayweather shit. So anyway, Saul Canelo Alvarez, just for argument's sake, let's just say that he he wanted one world title. He has one world title fight, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Oh, well, seven world title fights until he lost to Floyd Mayweather Jr. Floyd Mayweather was the one to stop him. And that fight against Floyd Mayweather Jr. was for the WBA and the WBC Super welterweight champion, and they were on the line. So on those 23, are you also counting Saul Canelo Alvarez as one of the champions? Because He was one of them that he beat. That's one of the champions that Mayweather beat is Saul Canelo Alvarez. He had 7 championship fights leading into his fight and lost both his belts to him. Well, one guy had one the other, like that, and they came together in unification, and that's how Mayweather got both the belts. So after that, he only had been in 7 world title fights since the Floyd Mayweather beatdown. He went 1, 2, 3 fights for no belts. Then he fought the WBC Diamond and then the WBC Middle. Those are not belts. Those are not, none of them are real world titles. And then he WBC, that's not a world title neither. That's not a world title. Okay, now the WBO super welterweight. This is when when he beat Liam Smith, he knocked him out in the 9th round. That's a real world title. Okay, so he has one. He's doing weird fucking shit. He beats Liam Smith, right? He beats Liam Smith. Then he moves up to 164 for Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., right? He came into the fight 52-1, right? He beats him. He moves up to 160. He fights for IBF, IBO, WBA, and WBC. They were all mid champions. Like, why is he fighting for these crappy ass belts? Those are not world titles. Those ain't world titles. That super is, that WBA super, that's a real world title. Okay, now he starts fighting more. WBA super, that's a real world title. The WBO world light heavyweight, 175. He went all the way up to 175. Oh yeah. He did fight at 175 and beat homeboy for his belt, the WBO. Yeah, and then he went back and tried to do it against, and then he loses. See, that's why when you go back and look at his record, he has so many fucking fights. I forget a lot of these fights. WBA Super, that's a real world title. That's WBC Super, is a real world title at 168. He fought Smith there, Callan Smith, and he won those two. When he unified those, he went up, he made another title fight, another title fight. Then he went and fuck around and fought for these weirdo belts, IBF. The fuck is that, bro? Then he loses to Demetrius Bivol for the WBA Super 175. He came in at 174. Then he regains the titles, right? Which he never left at 168. That's right. He never lost these belts. Right. Then he fights John Ryder. He still has the IBF. He's been carrying the IBF. No, 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 no. The IBF is a legit world title. What am I talking about? IBF is a legit world title. WBA, WBC, WBO. Those are all real belts. These 4 are real. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. No, 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 not 24, 23 neither. 22. 22 world title fights. 22 world title fights. That's a good thing to mental note. Out of 22 world title fights, he's claiming he fought how many? 19 world champions? I'm going to check that out. Now I got to check out these champions. champions, he says. Triple G. Uh, oh, are you naming all night? Get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Hold on. Did you put Miguel Cotto there twice? Notice how you put Cotto's after Triple G? Go all the way down. Miguel who? Oh, 19 world champions. Hmm. Well, all I got to say to that is this. Why didn't he fight more world champions? Saul Canelo Alvarez, he has 60 professional fights. You mean to tell me he only fought 19 world champions? Above average, do the math? That's below average. He needs to get that up there. 19? Kind of letting me down there. Yeah! Yo, I'll come back at you like that. Hey, you want to go? You want to go? My man, Carlo, what up, baby? Yo, it's all love. It's all, you know, that's good. 19 world champions. That's good. You had to, bro. You love the sport. Listen, no, respect. Love it. And it's good to know. And that's why I have this boxing channel. I don't claim to know it all. When I started this channel, I did it for us, so that we can talk, so that I can also be taught and be informed. I love that. Love that. You know what I'm saying? But, at the same time, this is, this is why I bring it, you know, and we can always talk about it, baby. Armando, what up, baby? Yeah, mate. You know how we do up in here, Real Round One Sports Talk. All love, baby. All love, all the time. You know what I mean? Let's give everyone a round of applause. It's been a great show, man. Love you guys. Love you guys. Armando, yes. No, no, but absolutely, man. There are a lot of champions. What's up, Jamie? Really? Really? Fighting corner more? Okay. You must be paid for them. You must be rocking with them. I see what it is. Listen, no, man, fight fans, man. I've had a blast, man. It's been an interesting show. Um, we're gonna break down some more of these fights. I've been going on live almost every day this week, really getting my studio together, my sound together, my audience, and real familiar with my audience. I always love to talk boxing. My name is Edwin. I am your host here at Round One Sports Talk. And if you guys got anything else you want to chop it up with, I'm gonna be ending this episode. Um, we gotta leave something to talk forward about tomorrow, don't we? You know what I mean? Can't can't throw it all out there. But here's something to think about. Who would you guys like Subriel Matias to fight? Who do you think he should fight in Puerto Rico? Getting someone to go out in Puerto Rico and fight you in your own backyard and that kind of fighter, I mean, listen, he's not unbeatable. Subriel is beatable. Every man in this world is beatable. Okay? It's just gonna you know what you're gonna have to do. And what you're willing, you're gonna have to stay on the outside, move them feet, and I hope you got something to keep that man off you. If you can have those three things, yeah, so anyone's beatable. But that's not the point. The point is, who are you gonna get to fight him in Puerto Rico? That's the question. And who would you like him to fight? That's the question. I would like to see that. And the next time we talk, I want to see, who you guys still got, Frank Martin, or Tank Davis, and there's a lot of still big fights to come across. So I'm gonna put together a show for tomorrow and we're gonna talk about it. Listen, I love you guys. I will always keep it up. Thank you. Round One Sports Talk. No one,
Surprise, motherfucker. Hell yeah.
no one wants to fight Matias, and especially not in Puerto Rico. Would anyone sign up for that? You know, the man's already motivated enough. You want that prime motivated Subriel in his hometown? You want that kind of Subriel on your ass? Yo, call me after that fight.